Now we get to the week 8 picks. I'm trying to get this bad boy uploaded before the kickoffs. Looking at last week's picks, I had a bit of a drop off. 9 correct, 5 incorrect. My 5 wrong picks: Vikings beating the Lions, wrong. Falcons beating the Seahawks. Jets beating the Steelers. Bucks beating the Ravens. And I had KC losing. Yikes. 49ers didn't pull that off, so swung and I'm swinging a miss on those. Now going with this week's picks, I can't even do the Thursday night football game. It was a fun game that saw the return of wide receivers Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp to the Rams. That changed shit up when we saw Matthew Stafford throw 4 touchdowns, and the Vikings opened scoring with Sam Darnold finding Josh Oliver. Rams answered with Kieran Williams getting a touchdown from Stafford. Vikings with Darnold finding Sherfield Sr. for a touchdown. But Cooper Kupp would answer with a touchdown, and it was all tied up going into halftime. In the second half, after a Will Reichard field goal put the Vikings up, we'd see Demarcus Robinson catch a 25-yard touchdown, putting the Rams up. Again, the Vikings, another field goal. And then they trailed LA 21-20. And then Stafford would find Robinson for their second touchdown of the game, and it was 28-20. But then we saw some brutal officiating. You'd see the face mask on Sam Darnold in the end zone. Byron Young holding his head for his mistake, but it wasn't called. It was a safety, made 30-20, and you couldn't review that play. And that's how the game would end. And it's tough because the Vikings lost their second game in less than a week. And it was funny because the Rams have been advocating for this rule change, the review of a face mask, and it hasn't passed. But now I imagine they'll have a look at it. So I couldn't pick that game. So let's look at the games we can pick. They're probably going on right now. Let's get this online. Jaguars play their first game on American soil in a few weeks, and they welcome my Packers. I have high hopes for my Packers in this one. And the Jaguars, they'll be feeling good, but the Packers are going to break those spirits a bit. Jordan Love, he's been throwing too many interceptions. Let's cut that down. I'm hoping he has 0 picks in this one. It'll be closer than you think, but I have the Packers winning. Something I did not expect to say so soon after what we saw happen to him on the field, but Tua Tagovailoa is starting for the Dolphins. He's cleared to play, not rocking the Guardian cap, his choice, and it's good to go. Playmakers on the Dolphins side rejoicing as they'll think they'll get their touches, but I fear for him a bit, but he's got the medical clearance, he's got everything to go, he's good to go. As much as it is nice to see him on the field, I see Kyler Murray and the Cardinals taking this one. Arizona going into the Dolphins and killing their spirits by winning the game. Patriots are hoping to avoid that 6th consecutive loss. They have a tough task facing off with the AFC East rival Jets. Jets haven't lived up to the expectations, but Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, a full week of practice, that can only be a good thing. But Rodgers has some pressure on him. He has not looked that great this season coming off of that major injury last season, but I think this is the game where we start to remember the Rodgers we used to love watching, and I see the Jets adding to the Patriots' losing streak in this one. Deshaun Watson, he's out for the year now with that Achilles injury. They won't have the news of him around much longer this season, I guess. And Jameis Winston, it's his time to run the show. I think they're going to look a little better with him running it, to be honest, but not better to the degree that they're going to beat the Ravens. They're going to face a highly motivated Browns defense, especially with Myles Garrett and that cool Terminator outfit. But I think it's an NFL game, not a costume party, and I have the Ravens winning. The Eagles and Bengals, this could be intriguing. Philadelphia and Cincinnati, the 4-2 Eagles are looking to keep pace with the Commanders in the NFC East, while the Bengals are trying to stay relevant in the tough AFC North. I think we have a good old-fashioned slobber knocker, the wrestling fans, in this one, and it'll be cool to see a family rivalry as well, a Canadian one to boot. Bengals running back Chase Brown facing off with his identical twin, Eagles Sidney Brown. Some cool history there and really cool moment for the Brown family and for Canadian football in general. What a dream for them to face off with each other in the NFL. But despite that, I think the Jamar Chase will be the difference in this one, and I think the Bengals will take down the Eagles. Big AFC South matchup between Anthony Richardson and the Colts and CJ Stroud and the Texans. I feel like this could be a close game, but after how badly CJ played against my Packers last week, I see him returning home and taking it out on the Colts. All divisional games can be tight, but I see Houston, Mixon, Stroud, that combination, Texans win. Looks like Mason Rudolph's still going to guide the sleigh for Tennessee, but that Titans team is going into a lion's den. The Detroit Lions have been something else, and they're going to get hot, and Tennessee's not going to have the firepower to keep up. They're going to force bad throws and get a lot of picks, and I do not see it going well there. Big win for the Lions at home. Big NFC South matchup where the last time we saw these two teams face off, Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Kirk Cousins set a franchise record for passing yards, and we saw some high scores. The Bucks are beaten up coming into this one. I mentioned the Godwin injury. I mentioned the injury to Evans. They're going to be tough in this one, and I don't see them doing enough to beat the Falcons. I think whichever running game gets going better will win. And the Falcons, I think they got to trust Robinson and Algier more. I see them running it up, and I see the Falcons running up the board on the Bucks here, beating them for the second time of the season. The Saints, they're starting rookie Spencer Rattler for the third straight start, and he's going to have his work cut out for him going up against the Chargers, who look disappointing on Monday night. And I think they're going to take the frustrations out on the Saints team. I'm looking for the Chargers blowout at home. I'm looking for Justin Herbert fantasy owners to rejoice. And like I said, Chargers are going to win that one. I'm looking forward to a big NFC versus AFC matchup. The Buffalo Bills look great in their second half of their win last week, while the Seahawks dominated on all facets of the ball in their win. So I think this one's going to be tough. It's going to come down to crunch time and who's going to make big plays. We've seen Josh Allen make bad interceptions in the past. I don't think he's doing that in this one. I think he's keeping those interceptions away like he has been for the most part. And the Bills are going to win this one, going across country and beating Seattle. We have a Bears and Commanders matchup where you have the battle of the two quarterbacks chosen 1 and 2 in this past year's NFL draft. 4 and 2 Chicago with Caleb Williams taking on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, who are 5 and 2. And Daniels is still dealing with that rib injury that many thought would keep him out of this game, but he wants to play. He's tough. He's ready to go, and he wants to duke it out with his former draft classman. I don't see him. I hope he doesn't get a big injury. You know, the Bears defense is tough and they can hit. I'm hoping he survives the game, but I think the Bears are going to survive the battle and they're going to win the war, taking out the Commanders in this one. For the season, the Raiders, they had their Kermit the Frog up in practice, mocking Patrick Mahomes and his voice. But, you know, life comes at you fast. And I think Mahomes is going into Vegas, and he's going to make the Raiders miss Piggy. I see the Chiefs going in and beating up on the Raiders, staying undefeated on the season. It'll be cool to see how involved DeAndre Hopkins is with his new addition to the team. With the Panthers and Broncos, we get to see Bryce Young make his return to the lineup, and it's not under the best news. You know, Andy Dalton was involved in a car accident. He's okay, but nothing serious, and Bryce Young will get the start. Panthers are kind of missing players all over here. I don't know how he's going to look in this game. I hope he looks better than he has, which hasn't been very good. But Denver's not going to go easy on him. I see the Broncos winning this one, beating the Panthers in the Mile High City. The Sunday night bout features two teams that have had disappointing starts to the season. Two of the NFL's most famous teams, the Cowboys and 49ers. I think the Cowboys might get off to a good start and give the team some hope, but the injury-riddled 49ers will come back, take the win at San Francisco, frustrating the Cowboys fan base even more, who were calling for a Super Bowl, but now just calling for any kind of win. The Monday Night Football matchup, it should be good, but I don't know how good it will be. I mean, the Giants are struggling. They're going to try to keep up with Pittsburgh. We know how Danny Dimes is on primetime games. Not very good. And I see Russell, last name Wilson, winning his second straight start of the Steelers, keeping pace with the Ravens in the North with the win in that. So there you have it. Hopefully this is uploaded for those games get going. If not, oh shit, hopefully it works out. But thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the games this week. Ren City out.